I'm joined by the historian of the BBC, Jean Seaton, and Daisy Goodwin, writer and television executive. Daisy Seaton, you made programmes like Grand Designs. Just without naming names even, is the issue around the big presenter who just does things their own
Daisy
way?
Goodwin.
Daisy.
As a TV producer, I expect to do battle with my presenters. It's never actually got physical, but that's what you're paid to do. I think great presenters make programmes. On the other hand, I think that a broadcaster can never allow the talent to get bigger than the programmes. And I think in this particular juncture, Clarkson and his team have been sort of pushing the BBC. They've been goading them in quite an entertaining way. But I think there's a point at which the BBC has to... Well, they put him on the naughty step now, haven't they? And
I think he's been put on the naughty step before. This is the next
how long?
one on.
How long can they put him on the naughty step? And I think at some point they've got to say, enough's enough. Because actually, I think that in the end, the BBC's reputation is more important than one piece of talent.
Jean Seaton, Clarkson is a very big character, obviously, at the BBC. But historically, there have been very big characters who have misbehaved. I mean, you could take Russell Brand, actually, couldn't choose not to, and caused embarrassment. And it's just a pattern, isn't it? It's not...
Well, I suppose there's the conjunction between the format, a really good format, and the talent that makes that format bigger and more successful. And knowing which side of that you're actually dealing with in any particular case is rather important. I think the other thing that's, really quite important is people think that they can make their own weather. And I think you were so right in saying he was goading. I mean, he was, and his audience probably rather liked that. And
I think that's what they liked. It wasn't a sideshow. That was it. That's
but I mean, I think there's another rather odd, interesting example about around Clarkson, because he allows the BBC to carry a range of opinions that he's otherwise quite uncomfortable with. So he is very, very valuable bit of talent because he, as it were, is... I can't think of the right word, but, he's grumpy.
Someone said, they'll replace him with Nigel Farage.
Yeah.
And you might say that's a part of the audience at the BBC.
And there's a kind of a parody. He both says things, but he kind of performs being himself. But it may be that it's that... I mean, he's rather like a political commentator in which the character you play is very close to yourself, and it gets dangerous.
Oh, well,
and it may now have got dangerous.
That's where I wanted... because you might have a view on this, Daisy.
Yeah.
It's not coincidence that the big characters have big egos and become difficult to manage, is it? There's something...
Funnily enough, no.
No, there's a correlation,
but
isn't it? Part of the package.
Yeah, of course it's part of the package. No, you can't have one without the other. But what's interesting is that he should be so hell-bent on committing sort of harry-kiri, really. I mean, at some point he must have known that, the BBC was just going to... It was a sort of game of chicken, wasn't it? So I think that actually... You look at what happened with Jonathan Ross. When he was sacked, there were very long faces at BBC Entertainment, and they were like, "Oh no, it'll all go pear-shaped from now on. No one will ever watch BBC Entertainment ever again." And then, funnily enough, they got Graham Norton, and actually, it's doing rather well, I believe.
Is there an obvious way of dealing with big egos from history? I mean, you've written a book. You've talked about Malcolm Muggeridge in your book, and we've got obviously grimmer past with Jimmy Savile. I mean, is there an obvious way in which you contain big stars?
It's always a problem managing stars. What I think is quite interesting about this is the last provocation is actually almost in private. All the previous ones have been about words said in public. This one feels transgressive in a slightly different way, actually.
Thank you both very much.